FM. Or you can just go the regular way. Turn on your radio and tune in to 102.1 FM.
We love you at High Impact Radio. Mwah!
See, there is no separating us now.
Make manage, multiply, and maximize your money.
Yeah, yeah.
With Successful Summit at Money Magnet Show. Money Magnet Show.
It's Money Magnet Show with Successful Summit.
On High Impact Radio, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Successful Summit.
Hello there.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Hello there.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the Friday edition of the newspaper review right here on your urban lifestyle station. Yes, I said Friday because we're always looking forward to Friday. It's a beautiful one so far, but so many things happened yesterday, and one of those atrocities in my own book is the fact that we got news or breaking news yesterday. Well, it's no longer breaking, where we heard that residents flee Benue community as a fresh herdsman attack leaves 2 soldiers dead and 7 others. That is sad, knowing from the fact that we still saw something like this in that same Benue state over the weekend, where residents had to flee the community for due to attack allegedly by herdsmen. And also we know there's been a protest in Ondo State where allegedly herdsmen killed over 12 persons, and it begins to make people feel like it seems this whole herdsmen and farmers crisis doesn't seem to come to an end. It seems instead of coming to an end, it's like it's just transferring to different locations. We heard the same protest happened in Enugu State over the weekend. We also heard rumors of the protesters being disbanded by police and soldiers. Rumors, that is, allegedly. But this only one thing is certain in all these things from these 3 communities is the fact that they are accusing herdsmen of attack. So we're talking about the North Central at this point in Benue State. We're talking about the Southwest in Ondo State. We're talking about the Southeast in Enugu State. Let's not forget what's happening in the Northeast. Let's not forget the crisis brewing at the moment, even if it's not yet a crisis in the South. So we're talking about the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria currently in some sort of insecurity crisis. So you ask, is it coming to an end, or is it just spreading its wings to every other part of the country? At one point, you see some people in the south will say, it's only in the north. You say, it's only in the east. Some people in the east will say, no, it's only in the south we have militants. But now, you're talking IPOB. You're talking different things in different sections. And we still see on the paper this morning where the Ijaw National Council is also thinking of maybe they will start having discussions of self-determination. I think it's going to be one of the headlines. Which
self-determination.
So different things are being said. Different things are being heard.
I mean, that's a big English language for me. Self-determination.
Oh, crazy. But this is how we welcome you to the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. You just have to sit back, relax, as we have stories on the different, front pages that we have with us this morning. My name is Uche Okorion. Of course, you heard someone else's voice on the show this morning.
All right. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Ilupeju, Ayodeji Ajiboye is my name, and it's always a pleasure to be on the morning show, giving you and dissecting all of the major stories in the editorials this morning. Friday, 21st day in the month of March, year 2025. Our time flies, guys. March is marching on, definitely.
Marching to April.
Marching into April.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one. For the Muslim brothers and sisters, today happens to be day 21 of Ramadan.
9 days.
Yeah,
we're counting down. We are all counting down.
9 days to go, and so we wish you all a successful, Ramadan season, and may Allah provide all the things of our heart's desires to us.
Amen.
And remember, you can always be a part of the conversation if you reach out to us on 0704 425 2109, and that's the number for you to call us at. I take it one more time: 0704 425 2109. But if you want to reach us via WhatsApp or your regular text message, it is on 0907 224 5018. 0907 224 5018. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll go into the papers in full.
The high impact of Lagos.
Strap on those shoes, citizens. We're about to walk majestically into March. Welcome to Makeup March.
All we do is makeup.
I'll tell you something cool about Makeup March is that you can see it in two ways without seeing double. Put on your glasses. You can see it as a way to make up for the perceived neglect of all the single people when February celebrated lovers. Singles, the spotlight is back on you.
That's right.
Take off your glasses. You can see it as an actual makeup makeover for all our beautiful ladies as we celebrate you in this Women's Month. Makeup March has something for everybody, but our high impact women are on the pedestal. Follow us on Instagram at highimpact1021FM to find out how you can win fabulous prizes this month. And listen to all our awesome shows for the same. It's Makeup March, but we ain't making this up.
Yeah.
We are on your side every time, like clockwork.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. In case you are just joining us, well, you are right on time because the newspaper review is just getting started. Remember, you can always be a part of the conversation if you call us on 0704 425 2109 or 0907 224 5018. So you can share your thoughts with us on the things happening in the country, or basically on how you think things can get better. 0907-224-5018. That is for your WhatsApp messages or your regular text message. 0704-425-2109. That is for your calls. We're on all your social media handles. We're on X, FKA, Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok at iImpact 102.1 FM. That is HI Impact 102.1 FM. We're streaming live on YouTube at the moment. So hey, go watch us on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM. Click on the notification button, subscribe, and you will get to know whenever we are live right here in the studio. Moving to the papers as quick as we can. Starting with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Thrones for hire. That's what it leads with. Thrones for hire. Our politics corrupt process taints traditional institution royal stools. Then it has a huge graphic image where there is a throne and there are different traditional leaders and there is money. Well, we do understand we do understand that in this part of the world sometimes we get to we see that traditional rulers many times are in bed with our leaders or politicians. There are rarely any time where you see traditional leaders is coming up and maybe they are speaking against most times it's like everybody's together. And there's something Dr. Dio Kaide always say. He say the problem with Nigeria is the leaders, and it's not just talking about leaders that are ruling us. It's talking about the traditional leaders. It's talking about the spiritual leaders. It's talking about the leaders themselves, the youth leaders, basically leaders in all front of every sector of life. And this is what the the Guardian is trying to shed more light on, saying traditional schools for hire. Anyways, you need to go look at page 4 and page 5 for you to understand the perspective which the Guardian is giving the story this morning. Beside those image, report hinges failure of public water service on corruption, negligence. You find that story on page 7. Public water? I can't remember the last time. I think, okay, yeah, I do remember.
The basic amenities are now luxurious.
When we've been talking about public water, at certain time, when I was a child in the Ikeja axis of, Lagos, we do know that even though at that time many of us still, our parents still provide water, or we have to go to the stream and all of that. But if you check into the drainages, what we popularly call gutters, you get to see pipes that are coming from the water corporation and all of that, where it leads to some people's houses and all of that. And I do hear in some areas some of all these things still exist, but the question is, how functional are they? And that's why this story is talking about, that everything is being affected because of what? Corruption and negligence. And the huge parts for me, it's negligence. It's negligence, because it's like they don't even care. Because almost, tell me, how many Nigerians depend on water corporation just to have water? You go to most homes, you see them, they've dug up boreholes, they've dug up wells. So it's negligence. At the end of the day, these are the things that most Nigerians say are like, what really is the government doing for us? You provide your own water, you provide your own electricity, you provide your own security. How many of us do not pay for vigilantes in our neighborhoods? You get the point. Like almost everything, you provide all of these things for yourself. So what else? What has really been done? We do hope all these things will be taken into cognizance, and the right things will be done. The right people will be fixed in places that can get things done. Underneath that story, we freed 4,082 minor offenders to save 1 billion naira yearly, says federal government. That's story on page 3. Underneath it, absence of Nigeria envoys not affecting foreign missions, Tuga assures. Find that story on page 7 in case you need a backstory to that particular one. Since the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there has currently been no ambassadors in the different embassies in Nigeria. But of course, last week we saw that interviews are being done for candidates to fill up those spaces. But now Tuga is saying, in as much as they are not there at the moment, it is not affecting foreign missions. Are we meant to say okay to that or not okay?
Definitely not okay.
Well,
who is representing us?
Well, the people's opinion, I guess. They will decide on that one, and probably those people who are living outside the shores of this country, in those foreign countries, who maybe have gone to these embassies to say, okay,
there's no head, there's no ambassador.
Oh, well, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of functionality happening in those places,
like because, a permanent secretary.
Because things are going on. Definitely, people are renewing visas and all of that. So there's definitely going to be some sort of functionality. But to what extent would that person have power to do things? That's now a different ballgame, because you're not an ambassador, so there's limits to the power you have to get things done.
To people you can talk to,
to people you can talk to things you can get done for the citizens of Nigeria. There's definitely going to be a limited power to all of those things. But hey, we know they are working on it, and hopefully soon enough we will have representatives in the different parts of the world that are representing Nigeria. Underneath that story, 2027 Ganduje minister dismissed Atiku Obi El-Rufai coalition as failed gang up. Page 16. Page 6 is where that story is. Beside it, expert laments rising use of synthetic drugs among youths. Page 28. Say no to drugs, people. Say no to drugs.
We cannot overemphasize the issue of drug abuse. as minute as it can be, as little as it can be, all of the analgesics too, if they are not properly prescribed for us, they can get easily abused. And I mean, this thing is so pertinent to the youth these days. And for every little thing they are going through, they want a particular type of drug.
But the kind of escape they call it these days.
Escape. Escapism.
Escapism.
Okay.
How would you escape the reward? You're always going to be there. So
I mean, you sleep and wake up.
So it means it's what fuels the abuse, because now you're waking up, you've taken drugs to escape the reward, and once the drugs wear off and you're back to the reward, your problems are facing you again. You need to take more drugs to escape for a few hours, and that's how the abuse comes. Every single day you keep taking and taking and taking and taking.
And the circle continues.
And the problem doesn't leave you. It's just there waiting for you until you want to. And now you're putting a different problem into the problem that already exists. Now you're a drug abuser. A different problem altogether. Just underneath the nameplate of The Guardian this morning, salary review for political office holders underway, says RMAFC chairman. When you say salary review, are you trying to reduce it, or are you reviewing to increase it? Because
I'm struggling not to laugh.
Now I really want to understand. Is this okay? Let's just read the news. Go to the business page 18 of The Guardian newspaper for you to find out. I'm hoping it's reduction. I'm hoping it's a reduction. Beside that one, for peace, Pandev advises Tinubu to reverse emergency rule. You find that story on page 3. I endured Akpabio's sexual advances for over a year, Natasha alleges. You find that story on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper this morning as well. And above the nameplate, you see this one, 25% oversubscription of, I think that is more of a personal, promo thingy news on the Guardian this morning. So in case you want to find out what that particular story is, you need to go check out The Guardian newspaper this morning. That's the much we can take for The Guardian.
On our right away from The Guardian newspaper this morning, straight into the Punch newspaper. Well, major headline of the Punch newspaper is talking about the recent fracas happening in the south part of the country, where it says reverse emergency rule. National Assembly backs Tinubu as Fubara counters president's allegations. National Assembly backs Tinubu as Fubara counters president's allegations. And the writer to that story says suspended governor blames Wike. South governors oppose Tinubu. Ibas wants pipeline vandals. I mean, just before that announcement, we already heard in the news that two of the major pipelines were already been under fire as at Monday. But I mean, a couple news also emanating as at yesterday is that one of those pipelines is now back to function. I don't know how that was able to happen in less than 48 hours or so. Well, this is Nigeria.
I just say, let's say the effectiveness of the engineers to make sure.
Or maybe some form of backup.
What we heard, it was the ones that were destroyed, and it's back up running. So,
wow.
So I'm thinking it's good effectiveness. The drainage,
I mean,
it
got work
the debris
done,
were
they
cleaned,
closed it, and then
everything.
it's back to function
in 72 hours. It's
okay.
I'll call it the effectiveness of the Nigerian engineering.
Yes, all right.
It's amazing.
Okay, away from that story right now, still right here on the Punch newspaper this morning. I don't know why you're laughing.
Well,
of course,
I'm sure you do know why I'm laughing.
All right, just below the front page this one, it says falling container grounds motorists on Lagos Ibadan Expressway. I mean, as to Lagos Ibadan Expressway, as to container falling, we just hope that this does not cause major hindrance this morning and does not hamper the effective movement of people going about their daily activities today. And as well, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, it says FG panel reconvenes Monday, Naira for crude crisis. That one is on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Federal government panel reconvenes Monday over Naira for crude crisis. I mean, this is one thing that is so you talk Nigeria, you talk crude, you talk Naira. When you talk Naira, you talk dollars. That is everything. That is just the way the circle goes on and on and on. And then just beside that, you have US-based Nigerian woman faces 10-year jail for $40,980 fraud. That's bogus. $40,980 fraud. I don't know how she went about this huge amount of money, but I'm sure it did not just happen at once. This has to be some form of accumulation of the funds to make up that particular amount. And elsewhere, it also says federal government pardoned 4,000 prisoners, saved 1 billion naira on feeding. That's according to the minister. And if you want to read more on the story, you check page 43 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And just above the nameplate of the Punch newspaper, it says 25% over subscription. Okay. Yes, in front of the nameplate this one, it says APC backs Tinubu as Atiku Obi El-Rufai intensify coalition talks. APC backs Tinubu as Atiku Obi El-Rufai intensify coalition talks. I mean, there's no friend, there's no foe in Nigerian politics. You always come back to meet at a point.
Well, it's what we've noticed, but also we've also noticed that, well, since all the years of our leadership, in as much as there's been coalition and all of that, everyone has not favored the Nigerian people at the end of the day. Or have we seen any progress at the end of the day to say, oh, okay, this coalition has made Nigeria free, this coalition has brought stability, this coalition has brought peace. Speaking as a Nigerian, from my own angle, I don't know if I've seen that. Probably it exists in every other part for every other Nigerians. Probably they've seen better and they've understood that the coalition has brought some favor to them. And I say congratulations. But I don't think any coalition, in my own opinion, has given us a Nigerian dream. What exactly is even a Nigerian dream?
A better Nigeria, a great Nigeria.
You know, so. Anyways, I wish Nigeria good luck, and I think the only coalition I think Nigeria needs is the people coming together to understand that it is them versus the political class, and not a different way altogether.
Because right now there's a huge difference between the average Nigerian and the political class.
So at the end of the day, it's the Nigerian people that needs a coalition. Unity needs to be involved. We've been separated by bigotry, religious intolerance, and different tribal insinuations, different things that have, enclaved us. So we need a coalition. We need to break out from all those things and have a proper coalition to understand that to have a peaceful Nigeria, we need to first tell ourselves that yes, we are one. We are one Nigeria.
Look ourselves in the eye.
And take away all the things that are, all the logs in our own eyes. Because, hey, like they say in the Bible, pick out the log in your eye before you pick out the one from your brother's eye. So take it out from your eye so you can see clearly to help your brother take his own eyes. And what are the logs in our eyes? Tribalism, religious intolerance, ethnicity, and all of that. Those are the logs in our eyes that is keeping us apart. Once we can take all those logs away, no other coalition can beat that. No other one. So it's what matters the most, the People's Coalition.
All right, and that's it on the Punch newspaper for this morning.
From the Punch newspaper straight to the Daily Trust. Remember, you can always be a part of the conversation. How to do that? Via WhatsApp or your regular text message 0907-224-5018. You want to call us so we can hear your voice in the studio? 0704-425-2109. We're streaming live on YouTube at impact 102.1 FM. That is HI Impact 102.1 FM. The Daily Trust, day 21 of Ramadan. Already said that this morning. It leads with a big story. Atiku announces coalition against Tinubu. President cannot be distracted by sore losers. That's according to Onanuga. You find a huge image right here on the front page of the Daily Trust, and this image says gridlock along the Abuja Nyanya Kefi Road. I think that was caused due by the explosion of the tanker on the Nyanya axis of Abuja. Few stories right here on the Daily Trust. Just beneath the nameplate, Rivers crisis, doubt over quorum as NAS approves emergency rule. I find that story on page 19. Abuja accident, agency calls for blood donation as death toll hits 10. You find that story on page 3 of the Daily Trust. Core members will get 77,000 naira allowance this month. That's according to.
Should we be excited already?
Well,
I mean, this thing has been on since let's say early 2024. when the presidential accent got on this particular bill. And then since then, over 8 months now, we're still in the euphoria of it's going to happen, it's not going to happen, it will take some time, it will not take some time. When exactly are we getting this?
Well, in the defense of the the DG of the NYSC, they've always said that the reason why it has not taken place is because of it's been trying to make sure the processes puts the money in order. All those, there's always details when it comes to money and all of this. And we all know most of these things are automatic because it just goes back. We know how NYC works. But now they've said this month, we just have 9 days before the end of the month. 30 days of September, June, and November. Yes.
Okay.
We have 31 days.
Bro, you just took us back in time right now.
Oh my God.
I mean, not to digress here. I know we're being serious right here. Well, someone made a comment the other day. I was talking about Nigeria and the type of language we get to learn when we are growing up.
Our education system.
Yes. When we're growing up.
I just proved that again. For me to remember, I just had to sing it.
It's when you say back in school, they always tell you are doing Pasha. Say, what is Pasha?
Yeah, it's crazy, So, but it's all good. But yeah, 31 days in March. I needed to be sure, so that's why I had to sing the song. And so 31 days in March. So let's look forward to the NYC. The DG saying now, 7,000 is going to be paid. And aside from that, we also know this 7,000 spore out from the fact that the 70,000 naira has been prescribed as the new minimum wage. So hopefully, since the NYSC is saying, okay, 7,000 is going to be paid this month, hopefully civil servants too will start receiving the minimum wage of 70,000 naira. So it's a win-win if that happens. But if it doesn't, I'm sure we'll be here again another day to talk about it. So
okay,
that's the much we can take for the Daily Trust for this morning.
Anyway, from the Daily Trust this morning, straight into the Vanguard newspaper. And major headline of Vanguard. I don't know why these papers I'm taking this morning as their major headlines, but of course, it is the talk of the town right now. Rivers crisis, anger as National Assembly approves emergency rule with voice note. Anyone who actually saw how this proceeding went yesterday at the plenary, you definitely understand that yes, everyone deserves to get angered with this particular one. And the writer to that story saying proclamation needs 2/3 majority vote of lawmakers for approval done with unanimity without a single nay. That's according to Senate President Akpabio. Says approval done with unanimity without a single nay. And also another writer says 64 senators signed attendance register, quorum was not formed. That's according to sources that were at the house yesterday. Akpabio-Dixon clash over points of order. Dixon, Tambua, Abaribe, others storm out of chamber. Atiku, Obi, Amechi, Afayemi, El-Rufai, others reject emergency rule in Rivers. And Tinubu has stabbed Niger Delta in the back. That's according to Pandef. And another writer to that story is saying South governors reject emergency rule. You can find all of these stories in pages 8, 9, and 10 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It looks like a lot of things happening right there on that just one story. When you write in exams in school and then you have A1
bullet points.
I exactly. That is what you have. So much to talk about, so much to look into concerning the crisis happening right there in Rivers State at this point. We only pray to God for his intervention. I know our child will not be too glad with that one, but of course, we need to pray to God for his intervention in that particular one, because it's left it to us to man our affairs by ourselves. But then there's the essence of the knowledge and understanding to peruse it too. Just below the nameplate of the Vanguard newspaper this morning saying there's an award plaque that has been presented to the Sultan, the Emir of Sokoto, I beg your pardon, where we have Sanusi Lamido, the Emir of Kano right there. That is the image on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And in sport, it is saying expect rugged physical display from us. That one is coming from the captain of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, William Troost Ekong. Later this in the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be in action against the Amavubi of Rwanda in the match day 5 of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers ahead of the World Cup in 2026. Below the nameplate of the Vanguard newspaper this morning says USAID's alleged support for Boko Haram unproven. That's according to Tuga. And also also beside us says local content stimulates economic transformation. That is according to the NCDMB. And right after that it says Pandev orders Lord Vanguard over their Congress. Okay. And then still talking about the Vanguard this morning, Emefiele's trial. Court rejects EFCC's request to file additional evidence. Let's put a stop to what we've got. Don't add anything to it again. Let's just make do with the details we have already. Emefiele's trial. Court rejects EFCC's request to file additional evidence. And that's it on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM, 20 minutes before 8 a.m. And of course, we have looked at the papers this morning so as for you to get, knowledge about things going on in the country at the moment. And of course, we'll go on a short break. And when we come back, we will be speaking to our in-house analyst. He is a political analyst in person of Dr. Dayo Kayode. Don't go nowhere. When we come back, we will be analyzing some of the stories that made front page. We'll be right back.
I know, and I love you too. This is why I've made it so that you can now have me everywhere you go. www.highimpactstudios.com. Press play. Links in our social media bio. Click at High Impact 1021 FM. Or you can just go the regular way. Turn on your radio and tune in to 102.1 FM.
We love you at High Impact Radio.
See, there is no separating us now.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
From the greens of golf to the court of tennis and basketball, the octagon of UFC to the square room for boxing, track of Formula One, and the pitch of football. Join the sports crew on Sport Hall 6 to 7 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays, Fridays 5 to 6 p.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Here on iMpact Radio 102.1 FM, Lagos. Reviews, views, and interviews, just the way you like it. Exclusive on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, Lagos. Sport Hub for all the updates and analysis.
The democracy has not given us peace, but we must tinker with our democracy.
I'm upset with my friend that came before me.
Oh.
Yes, I listened to him and he shocked me by turning things upside down.
Well, can I say something? Realize that we all have a right to our opinions. Yes. So that's his opinion.
This is on record, where every word matters.
Then we avail you, our listener, the opportunity of calling into the program to ask questions from our guests on the topic for the day.
Join us as we discuss topical issues from 9 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. Mondays to Fridays.
On record, where every word matters.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Welcome back to the show. The newspaper review is what you're listening to right on your urban lifestyle station. We've analyzed a few stories. We've looked at, the front page of the papers, but it's now time to speak to our in-house analyst, in person of Dr. Dayo Kayode. Good morning to you, Doctor. It's been a minute now, sir. Good morning to you, sir. Okay. Hello, good morning.
I'm hearing you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. It's lovely to have you on the show this morning, sir.
Yes, it's my pleasure being with you too.
Okay, I'm going to go straight into it. We saw everything that has happened this week. We saw the emergency rule, which was, announced by the president. We saw the swearing in of a new administrator in Rivers State. And before we then saw a discussion on the floor of the National Assembly, both the House of Representatives and, of course, the Senate, they agreed to the emergency rule with a voice vote, which some has condemned, saying it should have been a proper vote rather than a voice vote. But with all of this, what is your own opinion on the emergency rule, the decisions made, and what do you think this will result on the people of Rivers State?
Well, the president has done his own. And a lot of people are commented that it is unconstitutional. People have even seen what happened on the floor of especially House of Reps yesterday. That when that honorable member was calling for head count, the speaker was insisting on the register. So something know about Yoruba proverb that says, that is the person that is asked to share meat and is now using his teeth, his mouth to share it. Who doesn't know that that person will leave some behind in his mouth? Have we forgotten in those days when we were young, and then we'll be asking our friends to write our name for us as present? Do you understand? So who is saying some other members have not written some people's names that are not even supposed to be there? But in the coming days, we are going to see that. Because I am sure some people will still come up to say, listen, who wrote this my name there? So we saw all that. What is difficult in saying, okay, let us have head count. Whether yes, we are from a quorum. However, yes, the president has gotten away with this, but should that be the end? Where is Nigerian Labour Congress now? Where is our civil society organizations? Where are our CLOs, civil liberty organizations? Where are Nigerian people? The issue is this. The president and his party has planted a seed. It will germinate into nobody can predict. Or in another way, there is now a political ill wind that is blowing around our country. Where it's blowing to, and the concomitant effects of it, we can't predict. And a stitch in time saves nine.
Yeah, it's
talking about the implication in Rivers State. The Supreme Court said that the local government funds must be withheld because Fubara has not been able to present the budget to the House of Assembly, isn't it? And then it was withheld. Now, you are now saying you are going to be releasing that same local government fund now. Tell me, which assembly is going to approve the fiscal budget for the administrator. Because you said the administrator should be reporting to the Federal Executive Council. Is there in the Constitution that the Federal Executive Council should be approving appropriation? It's part of the Federal Executive Council's function, constitution, to be approving appropriation for states in a democracy. So, I mean, we can now see that all that have been happening in Rivers State has been nothing but a script being written and is being nothing more.
Real sad. Talking about, you said something about a stitch in time saves 9, and some feel maybe a coalition is what is going to save us from what we are facing currently at the moment. And we're hearing rumors of a coalition between Tinubu, Atiku, the rest, El-Rufai, Obi, and all, even though nothing is substantial at the moment. And some still feel like probably it's just a bunch of other politicians trying to come together and still do the same thing. What exactly, or how exactly do you think we can actually save Nigeria at the moment?
Yes, it is beyond any coalition. It is beyond coming together of some political gladiators. But it is within the people. Within the people. So the essence that I will give you, I will relay back one of my normal quotes that I came up with some years back, which is a people, not a politician, not some politician now, not political gladiators, but a people that actually fails to emancipate themselves from the claws of wicked, haste, Machiavellian leaders will continue to be, imitated by such people, by leaders. What am I saying here? It's time Nigerians read the unsaid, listen to the unsaid, and then make a decision whether to keep on allowing themselves to be deceived, or they want a proper people-oriented democracy.
Okay. It's really, really important that the Nigerian people come together to do all of these things. But there's something that is also on front of page of the Guardian newspaper this morning, and it's something that you have always spoken about. You've always said something about leadership, and not only political leaders. Our problem in Nigeria is leadership, not only political leaders, but religious leaders, traditional leaders, and the likes. And now we see on the front page of the Guardian, and it leads with a particular huge story, and it says thrones for hire, how politics corrupt processes taint traditional institutions and royals too. Do you really think our politics has completely tainted our traditional institutions? Also noting the fact that we also saw a situation right here in Lagos where a traditional right was brought up during the time of an election. Do you really think politics has ruined, or to a great extent corrupted, our traditional institutions?
Now, let me be conceptual about that your question. I'll be very conceptual, and it's only the deep that I'll be able to understand the deep as regards what I'm about to say. Look at Lesa Adesoji Aderemi, the late Oni of Ife. You remember?
Yes, sir.
Do you know his history?
Not
especially when it comes to Western region politics.
Not
he
that.
was in Western region politics. Okay? But what I'm saying here is an Oba that has ideology. Here is an Oba that situates its seat with the people. Here was an Oba that is thinking is always towards the development of its people. And unlike so many of them today, they are thinking faces where their stomach is facing. I don't know whether you.
Yes, I know.
They are thinking. Their seat is pivoted on where their stomach is facing. That is 1, 2. Let us take a costly analysis of how Obas are now imagined today. Is that the way they are supposed to emerge?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Is that the way they are supposed to emerge? I don't want to mention names. Some of them, do they even portray that character what we call royal blood? Do they even portray it? In their actions, in their words, and in their tenets, they portray it. Look at Father Kuka again now. I'm now moving out to religious. He has been appointed by a constitutional government. A government that is widely believed by Nigerians to be unconstitutional, and it's also acting unconstitutionally, and it's also coming up with policies that are antithetical to the living standard of his people that he has sworn to ensure the economy, well-being, and security. And we do believe that Father Kuka will accept appointment from such a government. May the soul of Ganifa Eni continue to rest in peace.
Amen to that, sir.
He rejected appointment from all these basic leaders. I remember Noborua too. Despite the fact that he was wicked, you remember what they did to him? Noborua was wicked, but he was resolute in his belief. And that's said now. That's why I gave you my usual quote about the people.
True.
Should not rest their emancipation on any traditional, religious, economic, or political leader. Rather, they should come together to decide on what they want and go for it. Because if anything in life you want to achieve, anything in life you want to become, it is only you that can stop you.
Okay, that's a perfect way for us to leave it this morning. And anything in life you want to become, it's only you that can stop you. I want to say a very big thank you. I want to say a very big thank you, Dr. Dayo Kayode, for coming this morning. Your words are always an inspiration for us to do better in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining this morning.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words.
Yes,
enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too, sir. Bye, sir. It will only take Nigerians, it only take the people to save themselves, emancipate themselves from the shackles at which they find themselves into. It is what Dr. Kayode is trying to say. Do not depend on any religious leader. Do not depend on any economical leader. Do not depend on any traditional leader, more or less a political leader. Only depend on yourselves. Only depend on that unity as Nigerians. Only depend on that unity as citizens, because at the end of the day, that's all you have, the power of being a citizen of the country. Depend on that power and push yourself to building a Nigeria that you want to see. How do you build that? By being the Nigerian you want every other Nigerian to be, and by speaking up against the things that are against the growth of Nigeria. You see truth, speak truth. Speak truth to power, speak truth to the people around you, and do all that in hope that Nigeria will be a better place. That's how we call it an end to today's edition of the newspaper review right here on impact Radio 102.1 FM. Tomorrow, we'll be giving you a recap of all the major stories that took place during this week. But we'll be back on Monday again for the proper show, the newspaper review right here on impact Radio 102.1 FM. But before all of that, my name remains Uche Okore. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful Friday.
All right. Many thanks to you, Uche, and also Dr. Adedayo Kayode for taking us through that. I mean, that long one. I have to listen with rapt attention. Like, okay. A lot of the big, I don't want to call them big words here, but words of encouragement that were coming out of the mouth of Dr. Right. And yes, that's how we wrap up the show for today. Big 5 comes straight tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. right here on impact Radio 102.1 FM. Adeji Ajiboye telling you this morning that don't mess up your progress trying to push the process. If February did not match, I tell you one thing for free, that April may. All right. So I'll see you when I see you, and I'll be on the other side of the morning passion this morning. Have yourself a blessed and highly favored weekend.
Start your day with impact as we give you positive